Live. All right. Well, welcome to Residing in North Idaho. My name is Seth Horst. Got my lovely wife, Kristen Horst, next to me. And we have Dave Miller, owner of Lyfe Public House, a local businessman for a long time. Thank you for joining us today. And we were just kind of talking about how we're going to do this. And it's conversationally is, I think, the best way to have these sit downs and kind of talk. The whole goal of our podcast is to give people a better idea of the community. And we both thought of you right away because you're a pillar in the community.
Pillar, that's kind of a strong word.
Well, I mean, you've been in business a long time, you and your wife. I guess we should probably talk about that, like how you got started and how you got to where you are today. So
Okay.
yeah. And you can talk about your wife's business. I mean, it's your business too, right? You guys worked together for a long time.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, jump in. What's the history on that?
Well, boy, so my wife and I went to, born and raised here. We went away to college. We were married in college. We've been married 31 years. So we were.
Oh, wow. Congrats.
Thank you.
And you're only 25. That's really weird.
That's crazy.
I know.
I try to keep telling her it's the best 31 years of her life, but I don't know what, she's buying that or not. But, we graduated from college over in Seattle, and we really wanted to come back here because this is where we wanted to raise our family.
Yeah.
Her degree's in behavioral science, and mine's actually in biblical literature.
Huh.
Oh, wow.
And so both professions that don't pay very well. And so, I was a pastor, and my wife was working in behavioral science, and really it came down to, she decided that if we wanted to really do anything or, kind of just get ahead a little bit, that, maybe doing a business besides, what we were doing right now would be the way to go. And so we didn't really know much about anything, but in 92, 2002, we started our first store, Beau Monde Exchange, and it was literally 600 square feet. We hung an open sign out. My wife had garage saled for about 4 months, and we hung the clothes up, just living as best we could, and bada bing, we were open.
So, one, where was that first location? And two, can you explain what that is, why she was thrifting?
Yeah. So my wife and I both grew up in situations that were pretty economically challenged. And my wife's family, they have 6 kids, and really, before school year started, they would go to a thrift store, and they each got to pick out one outfit. So there was no new clothes or anything like that. And so my wife has always been used to thrift shopping. Fast forward, we're in college, and neither one of us are getting any kind of parental support or anything like that, besides obviously love and emotional support and all that kind of stuff. Mm-hmm. And I definitely don't mean to make our upbringing sound difficult, because it was amazing.
Just economically difficult.
Right. And so she, that's how she always bought her clothes. And, probably 3 years after college, we, she was like, man, I could do this. And so, basically we buy clothes from our customers, mm-hmm. and then we sell them. And there's a couple of stores in Seattle that she shopped at during college, Buffalo Exchange and Crossroads. I don't remember, because I don't really do shopping. Yeah. And so she went to garage sales and would buy stuff, and figured, things that we could sell. And then it just kind of, we opened up, and family and friends came, I think, just to support us. I think sometimes they were buying stuff that they didn't need or want, or wrong size. They just wanted to kind of support us. And it actually started going pretty well. Probably, that was in June. 6 months later, we moved from a 600 square foot place to the next door spot, which was 1,800 square feet.
Nice.
And so it was, we're like, oh, dude, we are business people.
Doing it.
You are doing it.
This is easy. And then in December, about a year and a half after we opened, we got a call at 3 a.m, and someone had said, hey, I think your store's on fire.
Oh, no.
Oh, no.
And sure enough, we drove down there, and saw the flames, saw the black smoke, all that kind of stuff. And long story short, we had, we didn't know what to do. So we had, insurance, like, that we're told to buy. But that was, if we caused the fire, things were covered.
Yeah.
But we didn't have content insurance and it turned out that the guy that owned the building hired some guy who literally lived in his camper north of Athol. He didn't have insurance, and he tried to hardwire the heat tape for the drain spouts into the just the main wiring system. So no GFI or no. And it shorted out and bada bing. So there was no coverage whatsoever. And so we went the next day basically, and we went in Monday because we thought we had insurance. And that's when we found out that we didn't. And so it was basically,
that's a kick in the gut.
Crazy. It was basically literally gallons of Simple Green and sifting through soot and smoke stained clothes, just because that was what we had.
Yeah.
Right.
There wasn't like let's just write a check for new clothes. And, got past that, got the stuff re-washed, whatever, and reopened. And then, 15 years later, we kind of had one store going. And I'd worked in, I've always worked in corporate America, kind of, I worked for Nationwide. 15 years later, we opened our second store. Long story kind of condensed. We now have 6 Beau Monde stores here in town.
I see them everywhere now.
I know, me too. We
Love
shop
it.
at them.
Yeah. Pretty sure everything I'm wearing is from Beau Monde.
Well, that's
fantastic.
Yeah.
It saves me from shopping because my wife just brings it home.
I hate shopping also, so that's great.
Well, I tell you, this year with inflation the way it is, trying to get back to school clothes for the kids, it's like, here's your budget. Okay, with that budget, I can get maybe a couple things because things are so expensive. So I gave my daughter that choice to go shopping at a thrift store. And so that's what we did. And she still has some money to go do some more. So, and it's working out. It's awesome. I love it.
Yeah. How do you guys, is it hard to keep up with having enough clothing to sell? Or is it like how's
that's
that work?
a question that I thought I would, because I don't know how all this works. But the ladies at our stores actually go through literally hundreds of clothes a day.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know how many bags it is, but it's the exact opposite.
It's too much.
Too much.
Yeah.
We have too many clothes
that
come in. And so the cool thing, my wife, let's see, I guess it's 10 years ago now. So with all of that excess clothes, people will, someone might bring in a big bag of clothes and we might, take, 10 items or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And then they have the option to donate the rest to charity or take it back with them. A lot of people donate those to charity. We store those in a storage. Actually, we have, I think, 3 storages. And then 2 or 3 times a year, we have this huge bag sale.
Huh.
And basically, so people can bring in they get a garbage bag of clothes, or they get a garbage bag and they get stuff that full of clothes for $10.
Oh, nice.
And then we were able to write checks to charity, to local charities.
That's a fantastic, I didn't know you guys did that. That's awesome.
Yeah. And not to, my wife and her team do obviously a ton of work to put that on. But I think I'd have to get the number because we just had one Saturday. So 2 days ago. And I think we're really close to the 200 grand to local charities.
No way.
Yeah. So
wow.
It's really cool. And we thought, the checks that we write to charities would be, that's the really cool, and it is a super cool thing. But the more that I see what's going, what happens at the bag sales, the biggest need that it probably meets is families that just don't have any money.
Yeah.
And, they're able to come in and you could put 50 or 70 items.
Oh yeah. You could stuff those babies.
30-gallon garbage sack for $10. And so families are able to house, basically get their clothes for the year. A family of 4, might spend, $20 or $30 and be able to clothe themselves. So it's kind of a really cool thing, and something I'm so proud of my wife for doing.
That's fantastic. And I called you a pillar before I even knew about that. Now I'm definitely going to stand behind that.
Yeah, well, I think my wife might be more the pillar than I am.
Sure.
Yeah, we'll have to have her in.
Oh yeah, we'll have her on. Maybe we'll have the both of you on one time. That'd be fun.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
If she's probably so busy, we can't pull her away from work.
Well, now it's now she's kind of grown her business to a place where she can be, a little bit more hands off, and
that's the ultimate
goal,
right?
Yeah, kind of providing oversight. I'm in the situation where I'm kind of in the business more. They say that working on the business or in the business. Mm-hmm. I'm at the in the business state, and she's kind of more in the on the business state. So
you're jealous.
Yeah,
I am definitely a little jealous.
Yeah. So let's hear about Lyfe.
Yeah. Well, the crazy thing. So December, I guess a year and 9 months ago, I literally saw an ad in the paper, and Calypso's, which has been in town for 15 years, was for sale. And basically myself and another guy were like, hey, why not? So I guess why not is I didn't know how to make coffee. I didn't know how to roast coffee. I'd never owned a restaurant. And, we went in and looked at it and said, why not? Let's do it.
Yeah.
And the biggest reason for me was I really love our community. I love living here. Mm-hmm. And, when my wife and I graduated from school, we had quite a few opportunities in Seattle to work, but we thought, man, there is not a place that we could think of in the entire earth to raise a family better than, here in Coeur.
Why do you think that? What do you think it is? What's it for you that hits that?
If you like the outdoors, I'd say we're probably an hour and a half. There's hundreds, of hikes. And I mean, I've lived here for 50, I'm not.
Don't age yourself.
So I've lived here a while. Some might say 52 years. But I haven't done them all. Yeah. And I don't even know about all of them. Mm-hmm. So that's really cool. I love the water, and there's so many lakes around here. But you know what? I think it comes down to, for me, our community is so awesome.
I think so too.
Yeah.
Yep.
I mean, it sounds, not to sound cheesy or anything, but we have a super cool community of people that live here. If I can, when our store burned down, we had people coming and taking clothes, for us to wash them for us. Mm. And, we'd wash them in Simple Green, and obviously a lot of family, but a lot of friends, a lot of community. And then unfortunately, after 2 or 3 washes in Simple Green to get the soot and the smoke smell out, all the clothes smell like Simple Green. So then they had to be washed a few times in regular, with regular stuff that smells good, I guess. But the community helped us do that.
That's cool.
16 years ago, I was involved in a pretty tragic accident, kicked in the head playing soccer. And we won't get into all the details, but it was like a live or die situation. Mm-hmm. I was literally dying on the soccer field, and coma for 12 days, rehab for quite a while, all that stuff. But the thing that I wanted to talk about is our community, literally without us doing anything, had a huge fundraiser for my family. Because I was a commissioned salesperson. Mm. And when you're not selling stuff, you're not making commission. Right. And so, totally unlike real estate, right?
Yeah,
yeah, sure.
And so I'm, there's no income coming in. And we had people they came together, they brought auction items, and obviously I was in the hospital, so I didn't see any of this stuff, but raised a big chunk of money for our family, and basically just gave it to us. When I got out of the hospital, my goal was, we had moved into a house probably a year before. I'd got the front yard done, but we had this huge backyard, and it was like my project. When I came home from the hospital, our backyard was planted, landscaped,
Oh, wow.
like 10 times better than I could have ever done it. And then the landscape company that put it in, said, hey, we'll take care of it for the rest of the summer. There was just,
That is huge.
oh, so crazy. And, I'd go into restaurants and people would say, oh, you know what? Hey, this one's on us. And, but I wouldn't even know these people,
Yeah.
I mean, I'd seen them, but I didn't have like a relationship. They just knew my story and were so helpful.
Yeah.
And that's the community that we live in.
I love it. And we didn't know that when we moved here. We just came here one time and we're like, that's it. Just visually, it checked a lot of boxes for us.
Yep.
And, and the landscape, the town, everything. And then getting here and starting to realize that has been so cool for us. We're like, oh man, we got lucky. Like, cause we could have picked a bad spot, but we didn't. And I just love it here. Everybody we meet has a cool story. Like they're here for this, similar reasons, and just community, outdoors, like all of that. Love it. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, obviously I haven't lived a lot of places in the United States, but I can't imagine there's that many places like
No,
we have here.
I have. I've lived in 8 different states. I'm telling you, this is it. I knew right away.
It's pretty special.
Yeah.
And yeah, I mean, I've heard that, just because of, the, of life, I meet so many people that I've never met before. And so many people are transplants or people that, I've come here from somewhere else or whatever. And I hear the same thing so many times.
Yeah.
Boy, I came to visit and that was it. I'm moving here. And, they'll make a decision to move their entire family like in a day.
Yep.
That's what we did.
Yeah. It happens all the time.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
and
I know like some of the locals get a little upset, but it seems to be the right people moving here. Like everyone we meet, every client we help that comes here, they all have the same mindset. And it's just like looking for a better place to raise their family. That is like the number one thing we hear all the time. This is it.
And I hear that from, some locals once in a while, like, oh my goodness, it's getting so busy, or, oh my goodness, traffic's getting bad. And obviously those things are byproducts of people coming here, but my response is always the same. It's like, why wouldn't someone move here?
Yeah. Can't blame them, right?
No.
Yeah.
As the older I get, the less I like, when it snows a lot. But the snow just helps me appreciate summer.
Oh gosh. Yeah.
So much more.
Yes. Let's talk about the public house, because we keep saying Lyfe and people might not realize it's Lyfe. So tell us about that, how you came up with the name, what it stands for.
Well, my friend, Dean, he actually, his son, like a year ago, 2 years ago, probably 5 years ago. I don't know. He was just like, kind of came up with the acronym. And then when Dean said it, it was kind of just, it resonated with me. Lyfe stands for live your freedom every day.
Yeah.
And I am a huge believer in freedom.
I wore my legalized freedom shirt just for you, because I knew this would come up.
I'm a huge believer in freedom. And it's so important to me because, obviously we live in America. We're supposed to be free. I mean, that's kind of how we were founded. Yeah. And so, and I look at freedom as, we are free to, like my wife just did this bag sale, and she'll write, it'll be, I don't know how many $1,000 from Saturday, but she's free to find charities that are meeting needs in our community and write them a check. There's no one telling her this is what you have to do, or this is what, the law says this, or we're going to govern this, or we're going to dictate how things are. Owning a business, it probably wouldn't be smart, but if I decided it's, 95 degrees outside, the sun's shining, and I just want to put the close sign up and take the kids to the beach, I can. Yeah. I'd probably have some customers that wouldn't like that. But it is, that is a freedom that I don't, that I don't take lightly. And I think, especially obviously today, you just think about the people that risk so much, just to, I've got 5 kids, so I'm always thinking about people that put their life and their everything on the line for me. And, freedom costs.
Mm.
And so that the acronym Live Your Freedom Every Day means a lot to me, just because I think about all those things. Friday, I saw this, this gentleman came into our shop. I can't remember his name, but real tall guy, shoulders back, had the blue hat that said Navy on it.
Mm.
And I just, I looked at him and I said, "Hey man, how are you doing?" And I said, "I love your hat." I said, "When did you serve?" And he kind of gave me his story. And I said, "Man, thank you so much."
Yeah.
And he looked at me, it's kind of like, I would think that people like that get that all the time.
You would hope so.
Yeah. But I don't know that people, I think sometimes we don't take time to just honor people. And I said, "Man, I said, I have 5 kids and I wake up, I try to every single day think about, who paid a price for me and my family to have what we have." And he said, "Sir," he goes, "it was an honor." And I thought, man, that's just cool.
Yeah.
Dude, you are a stud.
Yeah.
And I, without gushing too much, I just was like, "Man, thank you so much." But I think about, obviously today I was telling you before we started, I read this piece on 9/11 and I thought about those first responders just running into the buildings with no regard for their own physical.
Right. Overcoming some serious fear, because, it's a completely unnatural human experience to run into a building like that that's on fire and collapsing. Like,
it's crazy. And I think, if, Coeur d'Alene Fire Department, I'm choking on the field dying. Those guys came in and I'm sitting here right now because of first responders.
Yeah.
Our fire that burned our building down. We literally had firefighters at, 3 a.m. or whatever, walking through and getting signs out because they knew that it was our business. And
Yeah.
they were salvaging what they could and giving it to us. And I'm thinking, who does that? But I think it's the whole freedom thing. We're free to do that. No one's making us do that. And so people respond to that type of, mindset or that type of lifestyle and think, "Man, I want to protect you. I want to serve you." So it's that whole Live Your Freedom Every Day was a huge deal for me.
Yeah. I love it. Oh, go ahead. Do you have something?
Well, I was just thinking about that and how, with the state of the world right now and the way things are in a lot of different places, that appreciation and that love for people who've served or first responders isn't felt everywhere. We came from California and that definitely isn't felt there. And so what we're noticing here is it's a huge population of veterans and first responders, retired and active and whatnot. And the appreciation you see from everyone in our community for that is just amazing. Our first 4th of July here, we saw the parade and I literally had tears because
awesome.
The whole thing was just like, I don't know, just like applauding our military, our first responders and everything. And it was just like, where are we? Like, this feels so amazing.
What a change. And a lot of the guys that are retired that we help come here, like there's this healing process. They come here and they're damaged from 30 years of that job, whatever it is, military, law enforcement, firefighter. It beats you up. And they're like tired and they want to get out and they want to come somewhere safe. And they come here and like,
you can see their shoulders
you
relax.
can see, and I went through it, like it melts off and you're like, oh my gosh, like people actually, I don't have to hide what I did here and I can be proud of it and people will appreciate it. And that's like huge. That's what I love.
So
about
that just goes back to what you're saying about the community here. And then that shines, I think, here.
It's cool for me because I've lived here all of my life. So I, can easily take some of those things for granted because that's all I've known. So when I see the 4th of July parade happen and, and the flag comes by and people even sitting in their lawn chairs or sitting, will stand up and, just pay respect. And that's what I know. So it's cool to meet folks like you when you guys first came in and to hear your story and where you've come from and kind of who you are. I'm just like, man, there's a world out there that isn't quite like this.
Yes, exactly. And that's why a lot of people are coming here. And it saddens me when we get bad feedback from locals hating. There is an aspect of it that I would, as a local, not like as well. Rising prices, the traffic, all that. But people are running from some horrible things. And I feel like we have freedom, right? We're free to move and go wherever we want to go. And we're fortunate that there is a place, and there are other states as well, but where people can go and feel safe and feel at home and have those good morals and those good values.
It does exist out there.
Yeah.
I promise you. Yeah. I do love that at Lyfe, you're very welcoming to that community, veterans, first responders. I do a monthly meetup for retired and active first responders, and it's getting pretty big sometimes. So we have great times, and we use the conference room there at Lyfe, and I love that. We're always welcome there. Usually we shut the door because some of the stories that get told back there are rather traumatic, and I don't, you have a little family sitting right outside the door, and they might hear some things that kids might change them for life. So we usually shut that door, but it's a good way for us, especially some of the retired guys that they don't get out much, so they have an opportunity to come and just hang out with some other guys that they trust and know.
And that's something you're obviously doing well at Lyfe, bringing in the public house portion of it, right? You do so many community things. How often are you guys doing events? It's multiple times a week, right?
Yeah. Well, Saturdays, we do something every Saturday now. We don't do much during the summertime as far as that goes, because I don't want to be inside.
Yeah.
Oh, yes.
Good call.
Yeah.
Right. And you have the freedom to do that.
Yes. And so Saturday we started, the Saturday after Labor Day, we started, our first kickoff was a country western night theme party.
Oh, nice.
Oh,
And so we had, line dancing, and I had some friends of mine come and do, perform songs, and we had country karaoke and that type of thing. So Saturdays, there's always something going on. And then besides that, it just seems like we have, because we've got a space that, we can fit, like for a concert or a presentation or whatever, 125, 130.
Yeah.
And there's not that many spots in town that hold that many.
Right.
And so we get requests to house things there, speeches, performances, whatever. And so, man, it's cool to open the doors and see that. One of the things that we, that we pride ourselves on, or that I always say is, great drinks, delicious food, and lasting memories. And the lasting memories is something that I just am pretty passionate about, because community, again, is so important. And, being able to sit with a family member or a friend or someone that you don't even know and laugh with them, or cry with them, or, just hear a inspiring story with them. Those are things that are so cool to me. When I had my accident, one of the things that hit me right away was that I would tell people is every moment is a gift. And when I start thinking about that, I think about life. And if I were to ask even both of you, tell me about your life, you would tell me about moments. Oh, well, we got, this is the day we got married, or this is the day that our child was born, or this is a family trip, or whatever. Life is a series of moments. And so if I can be a part of creating a place where people can have a really cool moment, and create a memory, that's really cool. I think we've done weddings. I've done dozens of wedding showers, wedding rehearsal dinners, birthday parties, dances, all that kind of stuff. So I apologize, I'm rambling.
No,
Not at all.
not at all. I'm very interested. Keep going. Yeah,
me too.
Yeah.
I think that this day and age with social media and everyone gets so stuck in this
Holy
world.
buckets, yes.
Yeah, it's so amazing what you're doing and what you are creating there. And that's one reason we wanted to have you on, is because what a great opportunity for people to be able to come to Lyfe and connect in person.
Yeah.
with
Every
people.
time I come in there, I
Yeah.
see somebody I know, and I'm like, oh, hey, we sit down, BS for a minute and hang out. I always see you there too. That's good.
Yeah.
And then, you know, it's like, it's nice. It's got that welcoming vibe. And then it's easy to meet new people there. Cause I think you get a lot of people that are in town, you know, maybe staying at the resort and they pop in there because they see the sign. And so you meet new people too. I'm kind of jealous. You probably have a fun day I'm like you. I like to talk to people. So I think your days are probably pretty fun. You get to hang out with.
All the stories are so cool.
Oh yeah. It's all about the stories.
Everyone's got this crazy story. And if you let them tell it or just provide a place where they feel free to express themselves, you get to hear some pretty amazing stories from some kind of unlikely people. I mean, I'll be talking to people and, you know, they might do one career. And so I have some, you know, thoughts on what they do or whatever. And then they'll tell me this story and I'm like, oh my gosh, you did that? Or, you know, this person or whatever. And you're like,
that's how I made that connection with Nate from Protector's Peak, because you were talking to another guy about him, and then I heard you I was eavesdropping out.
Come on.
And I heard you guys talking. I was like, you got to connect me with him, and then got connected with Protector's Peak because full disclosure, I have another podcast called Copy That Radio, and we in that podcast we just talk to first responders and kind of share stories in that. But I've said this many times to Kristen, like there's so many good stories out there. Like you were just saying, like I want the opportunity to talk to more people, but sometimes they're not first responders and I can't bring them on my other podcast. So this kind of is how we rolled into this podcast.
This is cool.
Yeah. Like, oh, we can get anybody like from the community, whatever. Like we can bring them in and talk to them and get those stories out. Cause I agree. Everybody's got a story to tell. You just got to find a way to get it out.
What's cool is because I'm not doing a podcast or anything like this, but on Wednesdays, I air a little 3 to 5 minute story on my Instagram or Facebook or whatever.
Oh, yes. Mm-hmm.
Called It Happened at Life. Have you seen that?
Yes.
And it's just stories that, like you just said, you met Nate. It's stories about people that make connections at life. And it's just, we'll sit down and I'll usually tape like, 3 or 4 or 5 of them in a night, and then we'll air them on Wednesdays.
Yeah.
But it's just stories about connections that people have made.
That's
and
cool.
It is cool. You guys need to come on.
Sure. Anytime.
Yeah. I'll let you know when we
right.
usually air it and, like 3 to 5 minutes, and it's kind of cool.
Oh yeah. I would love to come down and BS for 5 minutes.
Can you keep it to 5 minutes? I don't know.
Of course.
Well, you saw me how I get rambling and then all of a sudden.
That's the best.
Yeah, the time flies. I know. Well, we're only at 30 minutes. That's nothing. Yeah. Anything else you want to share about community life?
Boy. No, I think, just for me personally, when you asked me to, come and do this, I thought, what a cool idea, just kind of, talking about our community and, there's, I don't know a lot about, my wife is she's become over the last 22 years, a pretty sharp businesswoman. I'm learning because I'm used to working in just a corporate deal where I have a set, hey, I'm selling this.
Yeah.
And it's different, running a business. So I'm learning, but one of the like you touched on, one of the great things that I get to do is just meet people and hear stories. And, it's so cool to meet both of you,
Thanks.
at Life. And I mean, I'd never know you.
Right.
Where we met.
If I didn't have the public house. So that's pretty cool. I just got to figure out how to monetize that.
Well, it's getting people in the door, right?
Yeah.
That's it.
And people want to come back. So that's the important part.
Yeah. You've got like a nice space there too. Plenty of seating. Like it's my go-to spot because, I can walk there from my house, which is a plus. And there's always space. Like some of the other, I won't name them, coffee shops. They're like too small and then they're crowded and I can't get in and sit down.
And you can't have an intimate conversation.
Like too much noise and chaos. So I usually meet people there. I think I'm not the only one.
Yeah. Well, good deal. Good deal.
Yes. Well, I think that's a good spot to call it then. Thank you, Dave.
So, thank you so much. Yeah.
Where, so what's the address? Lyfe Public House?
116 East Lakeside.
Okay.
So we're kind of like, here's the Coeur d'Alene Press. We're right across the street. And then on the other side is a Coeur d'Alene resort.
Can't miss it.
So no, it's a great spot, and you could come, and there's probably another probably 6 weeks left of nice enough weather. You can come and have a beverage on the deck
On
and
the
look
nice
at the
back
lake.
deck.
Yeah, you
Yeah,
guys-
there's a view that is.
You've got beer and
love
wine
that.
too.
Yeah, we have that, and it's a good time. We're starting. We started a couple weeks ago. Thursday, Fridays, Saturdays, happy hour from 4 to 7.
Oh, cool.
So great deals, and again, it's just a place to stop in, have a quick bite and a beverage, and kick back a little bit.
Are you guys on the social media as well?
Yes. Lyfe CDA is our Instagram, and that's
Okay.
LYFE CDA is our Instagram, and then Lyfe Public House on Facebook. And I am learning how to do social
Oh,
media.
it's so hard.
Oh.
And there's so much to do.
It's so crazy. And
Yeah.
then every time I try to post something, like all of my employees that are all, they know how to do all this
All
stuff.
young.
Yes.
Dude, you just need to have the kids do it.
I try to, but then there's stuff that I want to get out, and then I'll say, I'll go live real quick, and I'll do something, like a little 2-minute or 3-minute deal, and then I usually get, oh my goodness, you did what?
No, Dad, no.
How did you post? Why did you post it like that? I don't know.
Oh.
I pressed post.
You had the camera sideways. Come
Yeah.
on.
We get it all the time from
Oh,
our
yeah.
kids.
Oh, I bet.
15 and 13, and they're always like rolling their eyes like, just give me your phone.
Yeah. All right. Please fix it.
Yeah,
I don't
take
know what
it.
I'm doing.
I don't know. You did
Yeah.
that? What?
Yeah, or hold the camera at an up angle or a down angle or a side angle, or make sure your head's in the right corner of the butt. I have
man.
no idea.
It's exhausting.
Oh, and I can't remember any of it. So we do have social media. But if you want to know about our events, life.ticketgoat.com. So lyfe.ticketgoat.com. You can click on that, and then all of the events that we have coming up will be on there. And some of them are ticketed. Some of them are we have a ticket system, but the cost is either none or minimal or whatever.
Just so
Gotcha.
you
But
know how
it's-
many people
yep.
are coming. Yeah.
Yeah, because it's, I think country music night, we're kind of, this was our first one, and I couldn't tell you if, it was going to be 10 or 100. And so, for preparation as far as staffing,
Yeah.
food, that kind of stuff, I think we probably had about 60
Oh,
That's
you know,
great.
65
turnout.
people.
Yeah.
that's great.
and it was fun.
All right. I'm going to have to jump on that. I just got cowboy boots recently.
Well,
so
Come
we would
on.
have to stay up later than 8 probably.
yeah, that's a valid point. Yeah. Well, he's got coffee there too.
Oh,
So.
Yes, a little bit later than 8. But I'm a big believer in the 6 to 8, stuff, the concerts that I'll do on Saturdays. A lot of times are 6 to 8.
That's my kind of time.
Yeah. that's
Because
a good
I'm
time.
thinking, man, I've got kids, and
Yeah.
I go to bed bbefore all the kids do anyways,
We
but
do
I'm
too.
just like tired.
Yeah.
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 Yeah, we go to bed pretty early, 9 to 9:30.
We
I
get
would
up
say.
before 5 every day, or weekdays. So it's like, I have to go to bed at like 8:30.
Yeah, I'm about a
9
5.
maybe.
Or
I'm
the
about a
point.
5.
Yeah. And our kids tuck us in every night.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's hilarious.
Yeah, there's times when I'll go to bed and Brooke will say, well, like, who's going to, I just have to make sure the kids are all, I'm like,
Nah.
they're going to go to sleep.
At some point, they'll go to
point.
sleep for sure.
Yeah. Well, hey, thanks so much for
Yeah,
having me, man.
thank
This
you.
was
Yeah.
awesome. It was fun to talk to you folks, and
Really enjoy it.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah, well, we
It was awesome.
appreciate you, and we appreciate your wife and everything you guys have done for the community.
Yeah.
So.
I stand by it, pillar of the community.
Yeah.
That's very nice of you to
Dave
say.
Miller.
Thank you.
Yeah. Thanks, brother. All right.
Hey, thanks a lot.
Thank you guys. Bye.
Bye-bye.